So this would be like a short webinar just to tell you why really projects getting delayed, and usually what people usually overlook or they just don't consider much, and then they put hypothetical plans and they expect it to be achieved. This meant like forgetting about the thing that is actually present there, and they just don't account for it. However, this is one of the things that actually have an impact on the project execution and the delay of the project. So with you is me, Rami Salim. I'm a lead instructor at IQRM, or Institute of Qualified Risk Managers. And today I'm going to give you a more, let's say, idea about how it looks like when it comes to projects and risk altogether, and how we see project delays from a risk perspective. So there is three layers of delay that usually happen in any project, which the first one is the productivity uncertainty. So many people are assuming a certain planned productivity and a certain number of crews and a certain things. So assuming a duration that is not achievable, that is one of the things. And sometimes you are planning for what we have experienced before, but however, the current state is that this productivity is not achievable. Second thing is the repetitive interruption. So in any project, you will always find repetitive interruptions, not one interruption. You'll find something that's actually occurring along it's almost a normal business. It's happening as long as we are doing the business. But it's not always there, but it's some sort of a repetitive interruption that happened to our project and the schedule. And then we have the discrete risk events. A discrete risk event, think about it like an on-off, something that may happen once and may not happen again, but it will stop your project for some time or disrupt your project for some time. And that's what we call a risk event. So, so this is the three layers of delay that we usually encounter in any project. So let's take I thought about giving you a case study. Think about it, how it looks like. So let's say we have a pipeline project and we have assigned two welding crews. They should, with two welding machines, they should finish this pipeline project in 100 days. So if we want to see the uncertainties, productivity uncertainty. So the productivity uncertainty usually it is factored in the number of crews we having and the productivity rates that we are doing. So this is the main two, let's say, key factors that is affecting our productivity delay. So the productivity uncertainty that, for example, we're saying we should be doing 30 welds per day. So 30 welds per day is a factor of how many actually welders we do have and how much welds actually our welder are able to do. So that is what we call that is the main factor that's affecting this productivity uncertainty. Next, if we want to look at repetitive interruptions, so for example, if you have a welder absence, so welder absence is one of the interruptions that may happen several times during the execution of work. So only have two welders. So if one welder is absent, then only one welder will be working, and then next week maybe the other welder get absent, so and so on. So the welder absence, that's something may happen several times. The welding machine breakdown, how many times the welding machine is breaking down. And sometimes bad weather conditions. So, for example, you have sandstorms, you have cold weather, you have whatever. It can be bad weather that interrupt the actual execution of work. So this is the second. Yeah, yes. So this is the second layer of delay here. Um, so so first is the uncertainties. Then we have the repetitive interruption. Then third we have the discrete risk events. That's more of a project-specific risk events that may happen or may not happen. So, for example, if we are should get like you may get a rejected no objection certificate. If you're working with ADNOC and on their projects, they usually have something, or in UAE, you usually have the NOC certificate or the no objection certificate. So, for example, the pipeline should have a certain right of way to work on, it may get rejected. If you're working with Aramco, they have the LOP approval, so the LOP or the land use permit. So you may get a rejection on this land use permit, so you have to change your design, you have to change everything else. Or sometimes stupid, I don't want stupid, like silly mistake happen, like you're buying at the wrong welding rod. So, for example, you're welding stainless steel and you buy the welding rods for carbon steel. So then you will be standby till you buy the other welding rods. So this kind of risk events, we call it the discrete risk event. That is a risk event. It's not necessarily repetitive. It can happen only one time. And for example, the LOP or the no objection certificate, usually you're going to get it. But if you don't get it, it would be a problem. So that would be the risk itself. So and so this is a 3 layers of delay that I was talking to you about. But what we are also concerned, if you're going to be a risk manager, you should not be always concerned about schedule. You should be also concerned about cost. So cost is a very important factor when it comes to risk management. Because at the end of the day, when the project is getting delayed, you're not paying time for subcontractors. You're not paying time for your welders. You're actually paying money. And the money comes either you are paying the welders extra daily rates, you're paying welding machine rents that you already rented, or maybe at some point having some consumables that you need, for example, if you're doing a re-welding or so on. And plus all of this, the indirect cost, if you don't know what indirect cost means, indirect cost, it is a cost that you cannot assign to a certain activity, but it is relevant to the duration of your execution of work. So as long as you are doing your work, you should have, for example, supervisors, you should have uh, tea and coffee to drink, should have water. So all of this indirect cost is born to the project. However, it's not assigned on a certain activity. It is assigned on the duration of the project. So what we are aiming to say to you is time is equal to money. So though we are here focusing on the 3 layers of delay, I want you also to get in perspective that there is also a layer of cost or a cost factor that is affecting us in a way or another. So in addition to this, what we usually try to do or what we usually aim to have as a risk manager or as a risk specialist, we need to optimize or maximize our expenditure and also the delivery of the project. So for example, if we are increasing number of crews, we are going, for example, have an extra cost for, let's say, extra housing and or temporary construction facilities. However, we are maybe saving some time that will save a lot of indirect cost. So this is something we call a GCL, a joint confidence level interval between cost and time. Think about it as like a way to demonstrate for you what are your chances. This is the green dots here. Is what are your chances to actually make it within the budget and the schedule, and the red dots here, how are you going to maybe not making it. So it looks here, for example, most likely you are not going to do a good job. So we have a lot of red zone dots more than the green ones. So this is one of the things that we explain in detail in the QRM diploma, that maybe getting you a brief about it. So what the objective is to optimize our chances to maximize this green zone. And to monitor this and to be effective about it, in IQRM, we have our own proprietary method that we will teach a good chunk of it into the into the what we call the PRMS training and giving a good idea how it's done is how to find and collect data. It's basically the risk data engine. It's a way to systematically and easily collect and store data that can be used for your risk decisions and for your risk assessments. So while we use the RD or the RD itself, we use it to reduce guesswork. We depend on data, not on people opinion. So you'll find that we're not asking someone, what do you think, what the probability of this, or what do you think, how much an impact we're going to have? We actually can use that. We actually can use data, and we can actually say how much the impact is. We can understand how far we are. So we can develop a defensible forecast about the project, either its budget or its schedule, and provide clarity to the decision makers, so telling them what is actually driving delays and what is actually driving cost overruns. So you remember the three layers that we were talking about here? The productivity uncertainty, the repetitive interruption, the discrete risk events. This is when we do the RD, we start saying, okay, the productivity uncertainty, we're expecting 30 days of delay, and the repetitive interruption is costing us 60 days of delay. And the discrete risk events are maybe costing us 100 days of delay, maybe. So we never have such answers if you're not doing the RD, if you're not started collecting information, collecting data. And this kind of exercise is what we will be trying to do together on your projects, and to make sure that you're actually collecting data from your own projects. You're actually feeling how it looks like. You discover things that you never knew that existed after you start doing such exercise. So what we do usually when we're building, for example, if you're going to do a risk model, but in the PRMS training, we will not need to do a risk model. We start with something called an expected value method. So we will leave the risk model building for the QRM diploma. So you will learn how to collect data and collect information, how to add it to either your model or the expected value method, and provide an defensible forecast. So telling your managers, so if time is important for you, we are expecting 30, maybe 2 months of delay. If budget is important for you, we're expecting 10% budget overrun. And here is the solutions to not get such risk affecting us. This is our proposed actions, and this is how we can help. And we are targeting to reduce our risk exposure from 2 months of delay to maybe 2 weeks of delay. And we are targeting to reduce our time delay from this amount to this amount. And we use something called smart actions, not just like not just putting let's say a sassy risk response. Let's say increased number of resources. That is not an action. This is not a smart action. It have to be specific. It have to be measurable. Have to be time constrained. It has to be achievable, and it has to be at the end smart. Like they can actually know what it need to be done, not to give them vague statements. So there is a lot of sources of data we use to do the RDE, either to understand why the schedule is slipping, or to understand why we're having a budget overruns or expecting to have a budget overruns. So because we are talking about risks, we're not talking about facts. Like we're not talking about, not talking about the issues in the project. We're talking what we are expecting the project are going to. So we look at project information records, technical engineering information, health and safety, financial market feeds. You don't have to do all of this, but during the training, we're going to show you how simple and easy it is to select the key data, the key information that you are actually needing, and start doing finding the information that you need to do such assessment. So, something extra I would like to tell you. So, since risk management is not actually about dealing, let's say, it's not about listing risks into a risk register. So that may be a surprise for some of you. So it's not about the risk register actually. The risk register is a tool for an objective, a higher objective, which is having a risk-aware decisions. For example, the example of the pipeline that we were talking about, that we need, for example, we say we need to add extra two crews. So do we have really a good reason for this? So this is what we are talking about. Because we have to explain the risk very well. We have to quantify it in a good manner to say, okay, yes, if we increase these two crews, this may cost us X amount of money, but on the long run, we're going to maybe saving Y amount of money. And this is the reasons why. And this is the data from the actual execution, and this is the data from what we are expecting. So eventually, we are getting a concise risk decision and problem solving for your project from a risk perspective, not just what we are not firefighting every time that we have a problem. We're not saying, okay, because the client is shouting at us at the table, then now we need to increase the number of resources when it's very late. So you are paying for the extra resources, you're getting them, but you're not still not achieving your milestones, and the client is not happy. So a risk manager, a proper one, should be anticipating such delays, should be anticipating such budget overrun based on the data, not because he's superstitious or he has a super IQ, based on the actual numbers. Well, like 1 + 1 = 2. So at the end, if we did this, you'll be able to tell them, okay, this is how we expect much delay we're going to have. This is how much budget overrun we're going to have. And then we come to the decision making. So this comes to the case of what is your risk attitude towards this? Is this are you a risk averse project manager, or you're risk neutral or a risk seeker? So you are willing to risk such money for extra crews to get things ongoing, or no, actually we are very risk averse. We don't have risk tolerance to lose any money. We don't want to risk it. Actually, we're going to leave it as it is. So all of this comes to something called risk attitude and risk tolerance. We're going to talk about it when it comes to the risk management plan development, because when you're building up a risk management plan, you need to specify what are our attitude, what are our, let's say, threshold points that we say this is too much for us. This is what we can understand. This is what we can accept. This is what we cannot accept. So when we are taking decisions, we have some sort of a reference point. We can say this is what we maximum can accept, this we cannot accept, and so on. So we talk about this more in details in the QRM diploma, but we're going to give you a very good introduction and usability into the PRMS to understand how we can implement this into your risk management plan. So you can think about when it comes to risk tolerance and risk tolerance attitude, like the risk tolerance is your barrier, is how much risk you can actually handle. You may have losses within your risk tolerance. You can accept some losses. You can accept schedule losses, cost losses, but some of losses you cannot accept. For example, losses that will make your company liquidated, or your finance will stop, or your project is not feasible. So this kind of losses is not acceptable for you. So a good risk manager or a proper risk management specialist will be able to help as much as possibly can with the available data information to keep their organization within this risk tolerance barrier. Though it is not fully in his control, but the due diligence and the effort he will be doing will, at the end, as much as we could possibly could, help to put it inside of this risk tolerance barrier. So, and this is something also that I want you to understand. As I told you, that risk management is not about putting risk into, let's say, like risks into risk register and follow up on weekly, and that's it. No, this is like not the starting point, but this is like more of the prerequisite to be able, okay, let's do risk register for a certain decision. That is something that I usually face in my work, like day-to-day basis. Usually there is a key decision that we need to do. Like for example, let's maybe we have a poor poor subcontractor that is working with us. So should we replace him or should we keep him and support him with another one? So what I do in my work, I would develop a quantitative risk register. That was something we also learned in the PRMS for replacing such contractor, and also another quantitative risk register for keeping this contract, to give some perspective how it looks like, how the difference looks like. And maybe if you're getting the QRM diploma, you will understand how to build a schedule risk analysis with a schedule risk analysis with such risk register for decision one, and another schedule risk analysis with such decision two. So to give your manager a clear understanding, what are the scenarios, what is it will be driving the delays, and what are, if you have an what if scenarios, for example, we actually do have another contractor outside who can bring him in like in 2 days, that will not be a problem for like mobilization. So this is some kind of what if scenarios that you can start thinking about. So this provide clarity to the decision maker, can help him to understand what is his possibilities, what is his options is. So to take what we call a positive risk aware decision, to take a decision that actually have a positive result instead of negative. And what I see a lot in a lot of projects, I don't know if you see this too, that just decision makers say, let's change the contractor for very, let's say, emotional feeling or emotional state. And then after they change the contractor, they like surprised, okay, the other contractor is just not that good. Actually, there is a lot of work that need to be done and there is nobody to do it. And there is a lot of, like say, hassles and problems happening. And it looks like a shitty situation. And sometimes it is better to change him now instead of waiting later to change him. So maybe having financial uh, problems or some stuff like this. So it's better to change him now because he'll be like a dead fish at like few months later. So that is the main objective of risk management, is to increase your positive risk aware decisions as much as you can, to be as positively as possible as much as you can. So every decision you're taking is actually a plus for your project. It's not a negative. It's not getting you actually backward. It's not going to get you more of course overruns. So any questions so far do you have about anything I've explained? And if you, I would like to tell you that there is only 2 days remaining for the early bird price for the PRMS training. And this training is designed for the people who didn't work as a risk manager before, or just starting their career as a risk manager or a junior risk manager. And they actually want to make the shift, but they don't have the skills that is necessary to do so. So what I'll be doing during this training, I'll be embedding you and installing in your minds the essential knowledge of risk management, is how to actually, not just knowledge, like not knowledge, like usually, like for example, in RMP, that would tell you there is a risk register, there's something called the risk register. That will be telling you there is something called the risk management plan, there is something called risk workshop, brainstorming session, and so on. What we do here is to show you how it's done. So we'll show you how to build your risk register, how to make a risk management plan, how to make a risk report, how to be actually, let's say, a proper risk manager. So we are adding up, if you already have an RMP certificate or already have been certified in RMP, we are adding up on your current skills with more of specific risk management skills. In addition to telling you what is risk management is all about, giving you the terminologies, the knowledge, and so on. But the focus will be in giving you the skills. So it will be one session a week. So giving you some time to do your homework. Like, for example, we tell you build your own risk register for your project, write this risk statements. So because I want you to practice with your own hands. I will not be always telling you. I want you to be practicing more and more. So if you are if any before I go on, do you have any questions? So I would love to show you. So we have this is the PR mass. I would send you. You're getting as a bonus the templates, all the templates that we'll be using, the reports templates and everything. In addition, because we are trying to get you a job actually, so there will be interview question bank with model answers, and there will be a group WhatsApp support. So because I know that after you finish the course, you may be needing some help with some interview, getting some job opportunities. I'll be posting if there is a job opportunity that is available for me that I'll be posting on it. And also, if you have any questions, something I don't understand, you can like ask me on this WhatsApp group. The duration of the sessions will be 6 sessions, 2 hours. It'll be live, and the recording will be kept for like 1 year. And we're just using spreadsheets, so you don't have to worry about any paid tools. And it will be in English, and Arabic support is available. So if you ask me in Arabic, I'll be answering you. So the early bird price is 199. It's ending the 16th of October. So 16th of October will be um, the end of this pricing, and then we're going to do up the price to 250, and then the last tranche will be just 350. So in addition to this, if you have like hesitant after you finish the first round, you'll be allowed to retake the next cohort for free. If, for example, felt like I do have still some question I didn't ask the first time, I want to join and want more time to ask again, that will be available. So you're getting a book, an ebook that will tell you everything we have will be explaining inside of the training. So you at any point you can look at this book and can see the steps that I'll be listing for you, how to actually implement it, how to actually do it, and so on. Um, the as I told you, you have to know some scheduling and cost at least. You just primary information. You have at least worked on Primavera before. Um, as I told you, there will be support. There will be a WhatsApp group, and there will be English and Arabic support. So session one will be more about telling you what is risk is. So people like get confused with risk with other a lot of things. So what we'll be doing is about first giving a very good introduction about risk management, and then getting in deep depths of how what is risk is. Because what are the problem I see with major companies that the risk manager is not able to write a risk statement that can be understood without him being there. Because what the problem is, you'll be making your risk register, risk report, writing the risks, but when the report is delivered, for example, for the CEO, for the senior managers, you're not here to explain. So they will ask, what is this? I don't understand. The statement is very detailed. I will not read all of this, let's say, words here. So you have to be very specific, you're very clear, and there is a way to do this. So that's what something I'll be trying to help you. We're going to see good and bad risk words and wordings and so on. And we're going to have like hand-on experience. I would give you some examples. I want you to solve it. So we make sure that you're actually able to learn the subject. Then we're going to plan for risk management. So we're going to have to understand how to plan for it, how to do a good risk management plan that is actually used, not just a document, not just a checklist to be filled. And third session will be how to facilitate a workshop. So I do risk facilitation for a living, and And that one of the things that I'll be teaching you how to do it, how to prepare for it, how to be actually good at it. And you're getting the assets of the questionnaire because I usually use a questionnaire to prepare for it. And I will tell you how to build it. So then session four, we as I told you, you have to learn how to use and find data. So you have to find and use the data that's available in your project. One of the things that we'll be providing to you. And the fifth thing is integrating risk into decision making. As I told you, that you need to, at the end, we need to integrate risk management into decision making, which showing numbers gives people more feeling about where we are going, where we are heading. But you need to have some data to do this. Without it, it will be just someone telling you this. Finally, which is the most important session, is how to connect the dot between you and the risk register as a risk manager to the CEO level. How to connect the dots, because usually that's a problem. If you very complicated, very technical, very trying to impress them by making it more sophisticated to understand, you're actually getting disconnected. What we're trying to do is getting you connected with them. So we will learn how to simplify the risk reporting, make it like easy for them to understand. And final step, you're going to have like a graduation project, a capstone project. I will, because I want you to practice with your hands. I don't want you just to listen to what I'm saying. I want you to try to do what I'm saying and telling me, I didn't know how to do this. So I will tell you how to do it and so on. So that's why the support is there. And that will be like a mock-up exam. I would to try to solve it on yourself. You have to pass, we expect it to pass 60%. And you have to attend 4 sessions, so 4 live sessions at least to get completion certificate or watching all the recordings. And as I told you, it's a 12 hours. We already applied for CBD for the certificate. And also you should be getting a 12 PDUs from PMI. We are not registered in PMI, but you can like self-report it for PDUs as a PMI certificate. We'll be mentioning the number of hours you have spent. So, as a bonus, as I told you, you're getting the ebook, mock exam, the interview question, the templates we'll be using, and if we're going to have any updates with templates, we'll be providing for you. So, this is the 6 sessions and everything about it. So, anybody have any questions about anything we are discussing here? Okay. And I'll be adding for you if you will want to enroll before the if you want to enroll before the 16th, you can enroll from this link I've sent you on the chat. And here is also the QRM diploma if you're interested in more advanced learning, if you already actually experienced as a risk manager. This I will be recommending for you for quantitative risk assessment, cost and schedule and everything. Let me send you its link. So I plan working on a pipeline project. Really appreciate the session is insightful. Please, can I have recording and slide after the session? Yeah, no problem. I'll be sharing with you the link to view the. I'm not sharing the slide itself, but I'll be sharing like a PDF or a viewer for it, or like a screen viewer. And the recording, a recording, I don't know how to share it actually because you are not enrolled in any course. So let me think about it. But it is recorded. I will find a way to share the recording. Maybe I'll put it in YouTube. So, what else? So, I've shared with you the QRM diploma and also shared with you the what we have. So, Omar Farouk is asking, uh, is job vacancies are available for risk engineers? So let's do it together now. Let's say, let's share with you. Let's go to LinkedIn and do this exercise together. So I do like have this in search here, and what we will do, we say let's say jobs, and say we usually do this project risk. I would say risk manager, and I put it between, let's say, brackets like this. And I will say here project, because there is a risk manager in all kind of sectors. And let's do it worldwide first, and then or EMA. Yeah, this. So, so because I guess in Egypt, so they're showing that there is a risk manager in Egypt. Let's see in Bechtel, only 8 applicants and 6 applicants in the past day. So they actually don't have applicants. Um, let's see what the job description. So this is the major software brain GPU initiatives, education. This one is because it's a senior one, it's 10 to 13 years of relevance or 14 to 17 years of relevant work experience, ability, master degree engineering construction, ability to perform quantitative schedule risk analysis. This is part of the QRM diploma. Experience in facilitating risk workshop. This is the PRMS and risk session. Excellent communication skills, multiple levels of management, team player with ability to read multinational, multidimensional. This is what we trying to help you with in the PRMS to be able to answer such question. Um, experience in holistic approach, risk management portfolio programs, experience in knowledge of participants during project stages, feasibility, handover, procurement, contractual. This will also be having a good details about it in the PRMS and understanding such software like Safran and at risk. This will be explaining in the QRM diploma. So to be explicit that some of the skills are in the PRMS, some of the skills you'll find in the QRM diploma. So next we have let's say let's do Saudi. So let's do Saudi Arabia. So we have one confidential. It's high job match. So there is best management or project construction management Riyadh. The opportunity within the infrastructure division requires specific expertise in work civil and transportation and roads, highway, bridges, and tunnels. Develop, maintain a comprehensive risk management framework. Provide direction, specialized assistance by project identifying project risk, which some of the things that we're doing in and quantification in the PRMS. And work also with project plan, recognize opportunities and mitigation to minimize risk exposure. And also this is covered in PRMS. Assign risk assessment design, construction, also there. Collaboration, we have developed the monthly risk reports. As I told you, risk reports is something very important. And engaging stakeholders, understanding their expectations, ensuring the risk management initiative exceeding their expectations. This is day-to-day, understanding day-to-day management, risk management activities, including identification, prioritization, risk management, action planning, and monitoring. This is the things that we understand how to be done in the PRMS. The QRM diploma is more on the quantification and decision support. The PRMS more of building the basic skill that you need to be a risk manager. So let's see also the United Arab Emirates. So there is several ones here. So we have KBR. KBR is actually having a very good company. We have, I just don't waste your time, but you can look at it yourself. Have KBR, we have Atkin Realis, we have, there was, I guess if you're in the United Kingdom, you will find United Kingdom. What's happening? I guess I have an internet problem. So in all, I just wanted to demo for you what the skills that will be covered. The Hello, Rami Asif. For the Monte Carlo concept intuitive section, will be purely theoretical or will walk us through it using software as well. We're going to use software. I will show you how to build up a quantitative risk register, how to do it with the expected value method, and then I will teach you how it's done using Monte Carlo simulation. We'll give you a quick roundup and understanding how it's done. I will use a free tool so to tell you how it's done. However, we get a deeper look at it in the QRM diploma. But I want you to just, let's say, get your first steps because jumping into quantitative without knowing the basics, it's just will be very challenging. So it's better for you to get the basics first. And that is the idea about the PRMS. Just I want you to get the acquainted with the real skill that is needed to be a risk manager. And then will be an add up to be learning about quantitative. Um, so which tool mostly used by industry? So the current famous tool that we use is Saffron Risk, which I currently use and use it in the TRM diploma too. And for quantitative, currently also trending is the model risk from Voice software. And there is at risk is very old, but is very good too, but it's more expensive. So I use model risk and I use Saffron risk and I use free tool called Argo. That is a free tool that doesn't have you to pay, but it has limited capabilities. That's the problem with it. So at the end, it just help you through it. So any questions? Any other questions? Okay.
I mean, I remember a few years back we used to do the Primavera risk analysis. That is, but Master has basically not changed the name, the Primavera risk analysis. So that tool is mostly used by the industries because I know Saffron is one of the famous tool across the industries. So, which tool you prefer basically if someone want to, I mean,
Primavera risk
learn
analysis. Primavera risk analysis is
more with
very
the hands-on?
yeah. That's a very good question. Primavera risk analysis it's a very good tool, but however, it has bugs. It's not supported. It's limited capabilities, not limited capabilities, but has compared to Saffron now. Saffron is more like let's say up to date, more applying the latest best practices and everything like that, and especially in the integration between cost and time. So
No, yeah, the Primera risk has limited because you can't add more than 100 activities. We are facing this problem basically.
if you, no, you can add more than 100, but if you have a very big schedule, it will be a problem. It may actually stop. You
Yeah,
have to like so.
yeah, it's like
So it's yeah,
you're
it's
right
a
because
problem.
we are facing problems. But anyways, so saffron is, I mean, it's like a limitation with the activities, or it's like it can be cope up with any sort of activities. Like
Yeah,
Schedule is having like
it
15,000
can take
activities.
some.
So
Yeah, because the people who actually built Primavera risk analysis is the same people, the same team, technical team, who has built up Saffron because they left Oracle and then got to Saffron. So they actually fixed all the problems that actually Saffron has faced predominantly. Primavera has faced. I mean, they have fixed in Saffron everything that actually have faced as a problem in during Primavera. So that's why it's actually much more better, much more supported, and that is why I'm actually depending on it in my work, personal work actually. And
Saffron basically the paid tool as well as
yeah, it's a paid
good
tool. Yeah.
yeah, the unpaid tool. So what's the basically limitation of the guys who is want to learn is okay to go for the unpaid tool, or it's advisable the paid tool
What?
for Saffron? Like suppose if someone want to brush up
You
his
can,
risk management
you
skill.
can, yeah, you can download the trial version. It's like a 1 month trial version, and
Mhm.
also you can and you can also um, maybe buy one version, like because it give you like a 1 month, so you can buy like a one like a because they sell it as a, let's say, um, preparatory version, so you can get like just buy it once and that's it. So you don't have to buy like it's not like a month, not by yearly subscription. And if you need the help with this, I can for sure help you with this. And if you want to get
Okay.
like 1 month license, that can be done. So, do you have any questions? So I see here Kamran saying, after completion of this course, can we start work as a risk manager? As most of them are from planning background. Yeah, the idea here, you'll be able to do all the activities of a risk manager that is not including the schedule risk analysis and the cost risk analysis. And that's what we need if you are willing to get this career. This is the next step. You should maybe enroll in the QRM diploma or just get the schedule risk analyst training. But if you just need to learn the add-in, but as primarily, like if you're going to work as just someone who need to have a risk manager on the team, you'll be able to satisfy all of the requirements. You are able to identify the risks. You are able to build a risk management plan. You are able to provide the response strategies, follow up with the stakeholders, provide the reporting, everything. However, the quantitative will be the next module if you're willing to go to the QRM diploma. That would be maybe a second step. So, any questions?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Sami, apart from those, I mean, learning the tools, so Saffron, what certification really support to basically enhance the not only knowledge, but if you want to elevate yourself from risk engineer to risk manager or senior risk manager. So what sort of certification you recommend basically apart from learning those Saffron or any tools will be beneficial?
That is what I'm trying. So what we have here is um, the PRMS is mainly focused on telling you how to be a risk manager and what giving you the skills that you need necessarily to be a risk manager. And this currently nobody else, or I'm not aware of any other certificate or training that provide you such learning. The nearest thing to it is the RMP, but the RMP doesn't tell you how to do the risk management thing. So it doesn't tell you how to build up a risk
Yeah,
register.
that is more about the theoretical sort of things. Obviously, PMI is having a good credentials in terms of having those certifications, but definitely that will not basically help you to understand the practical part of the risk, which is necessary
So,
basically if you want to.
so that is why we're getting the PRMS accredited from the CBD. That is a UK institute to get it, as a well-known internationally recognized certificate. And also we are applying for the QRM diploma to be also the same, getting approved as a CPD. So we are not it's a publicly understood that this is a training that is well developed and well comprehended and actually approved from the CBD. So we have two certificates currently that can be fitting for you. We have the PRMS and we have the QRM diploma, which complete the more of the quantitative part and decision-making part of being a risk manager. If you want
And
to be like an advanced.
was the length of this course, that diploma part? It is like 1 year courses, or it's like
It's
a
a,
few
it's
months
a it's a
courses?
24 hour and it's done on 12 weeks, like 2 hours
And
a
that
week.
gonna be live session. So
Yeah,
live
live
session is a
session.
recorded session.
There
Okay.
is currently a recorded version of it, but there will be a live announcement about it very soon.
Okay. Thanks, Rami.
Thank you. So I hope I was useful for you today. Was clear. If you have any questions, anything else, I would love to answer you. Okay.
Thanks for your time. Let's start with the PRMS, and let's see how we can progress to go for the diploma or something, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, and thank you for your time, and see you later. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.